Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to this impromptu live stream here over on the FilmSpeak channel. If this is your first time checking out one of our videos, kind of a weird place to start, but hey, my name's Griffin. I'm an LA-based entertainment journalist and film critic, and here at FilmSpeak, we like to say this is a place where the conversation continues after the credits, and of course, we'd love to have you be part of that conversation, so consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. And yeah, I guess this is probably the most direct example of having that conversation just with the live stream here. And so we're going to talk movies. We're going to take questions. We're going to hang out for, I don't know, maybe like 30 minutes or so. So why not? Let's make it a fun time. And I haven't done one of these in a little while, so it just feels, I don't know, it feels a little weird, but it feels good to just hop on here and not have to have a script in front of me or, some fancy edits and whatnot. Just you and me. Just you, me, and the questions that you put in the chat here. Well, actually, no, sorry. It's not just you and me. We are joined by FilmSpeak Associate Editor Zach Marsh. Buddy, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I was really impressed. I sent, just to give you all a little bit of a preface for this, I sent Zach the link, and I was just like, hey, I'm hopping on a live stream if you want to come on. He didn't even respond. He just hopped on. I was literally about to go live like a few minutes ago, just a little early, and then he popped up and down there in the little sidebar here, and I added him back in. So that was that's what you call dedication and being impressive. So,
Well, I don't know. I'm not impressive, but
yeah. Well, maybe a little more impressive than you lead on. But what are you up to, man? What do you got going on there?
I am just doing some writing for San Andreas, which is a thing that you know about, and people.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. How's that coming?
It's going okay. It's just kind of it's more a thing that I have in my head, and I kind of just write down a line of dialogue or an event when it kind of comes to me.
Yeah.
You add to it piece by piece. And I was watching some Cinema Wins videos because I needed some positivity for movies.
That's what we like. Cinema Wins, not Cinema Sins.
Yeah.
Our friend Mike Johnson, aka Real School, was calling me out on having a Cinema Wins mentality when it comes to the videos I've been making earlier today. And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't want to spread the toxicity. I don't want to do it on the on the internet. Why would I waste time putting together a video on a topic that I hate?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. Sense. Mike.
That's
go ahead.
For.
Yeah.
For.
Yeah, exactly. And like, if I'm going to do a review on something that I don't like, it's going to be like a review essay, not like a 30-minute deep dive, something like that Cherry video that I did, which, you and I have some thoughts about Cherry. So.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, but yeah, guys, I see we got some people here in the who are watching, so just feel free to throw your questions in there. We'll try and get to them. Again, this is going to be really casual, really laid back. So ask us anything. It doesn't even have to be movie related. We'll take whatever you throw our way, within reason. So let's see everyone here in the chat. We've got Sutton Brown, good to see you. Nate Achenbauer, Knight Rider, heyo. I've been waiting for one of these. I love these. Yeah, it's been a while since we've done one of these. I think probably last August or September, I think was the last time we did like a proper live Q&A.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's pretty good. But we got Ryan O'Toole in here. Hey, buddy, how's it going? Luke Reviews, Tony Movie, Chappie D9, Neil Blomkamp, #1 fan. I stumbled there, and that's because I haven't done one of these in a while where I'm so used to just like letting that flow off the tongue,
I've missed that name.
I've missed it. Tony Movie. Good to see you, buddy. Hector Gonzalez, all that good stuff. All right, so let's start with an easy question here, Zach, from Nicholas Baker. Favorite sports movie? Moneyball. Okay, that's really good. Yeah, I would say Moneyball is probably my second one. Obviously because I'm a hockey fan. Miracle is probably like my favorite one. I also just think it's a really good movie. And Gavin O'Connor, dude, he's the man. He gets sports movies. He understands that it's more than just a game. But Moneyball is a close second. That script is so good, dude.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I'm not really a sports guy. I kind of just casually enjoy each of the sports every now and then. Baseball is probably the one I watch the most.
You're a baseball guy.
I guess technically, but it's
That's weird.
Even then, it's very casual for me.
Yeah.
But that movie, like the first act of Moneyball, should be taught in screenwriting classes. Like, the first 4 minutes of that movie are the way it sets up the character of Billy Beane, the stakes of the movie, his relationship with his family.
Yeah.
It's one of the most like perfect first acts in a film. It's just an incredible film, and its Best Picture nomination was one of the most pleasant surprises I think that I've had with the Oscars.
Yeah, I wasn't. I was in that same boat when it got nominated for Best Picture. I was like, oh, okay, wow, all right, we're doing this, because I was probably like you, preparing myself for that not to be nominated, and that was a pleasant surprise to see get in there, for as good as it was, because I just feel it's so unlike the kind of movie that would be nominated for Best Picture. But what year did that come out? Was that 2011?
2011.
Yeah, that was a little bit. I don't want to say it was a weak year, but it wasn't as strong as 2010. So I guess it makes sense why that sort of made its way in there. But yeah, I mean, nevertheless, it's a great movie. Great movie.
Yeah.
Ryan O'Toole, did Kong whoop that lizard? I can't say anything. Zach knows. What happened.
I don't. We didn't go into that. We went into. You told me about the basics of the movie.
Oh, okay. I thought I was live, like messaging you while this was going on.
No,
I was just sort of like,
you told me specific moments of like weird things, but I don't know who won.
Oh, okay. So yeah, all right.
But as the internet said, if monkey no win, human no happen.
I am not going to say anything on that, but actually, no, I'm not going to say anything because most of you probably follow me, and I don't want to give anything away. So no comment. So you probably know which team I'm on. Let's see. Hector Gonzalez, thoughts on Horrible Bosses? It was all right.
Movie.
Oh, there you go. It was like we go from it's all right to oh no, that fucking sucked, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest Horrible Bosses fan. I like the first one more than I like the second one, but like we're not we're not talking about like the cream of the crop here when it comes to comedy. It's like very just I don't know. It doesn't quite do it for me, but like there are some moments in there that work.
I can't even remember if I've seen the second one or not. I think I maybe saw part of it because they're basically interchangeable, aren't they? Like basically,
they're very they're very similar. Also, didn't that first one have Kevin Spacey in it? Yeah,
and that's part of the thing. It's really hard for me. Like I stopped watching House of Cards when the whole thing happened. It's really hard. Like I can usually separate the art from the artist, but watching Kevin Spacey be like an asshole in things is a bit too close to real life.
Yeah, I get that. In like even me, someone who like one of my favorite movies of all time is American Beauty. I struggle to watch that film because of Kevin Spacey in it. It's just everything that goes on with his character is just sort of like, oh, God damn it, you just all right, cool.
Like I can watch The Usual Suspects. I can watch L.A. Confidential. I can even watch. I mean, Seven. He's a reprehensible person, but I think
exactly. Yeah.
So little of Seven, I think, might be why I can. But a lot of the other stuff where he's just playing a total pile of shit, it's really difficult for me to watch now.
Yeah, it's tricky for sure. But anyways, Jonas Diaz asking favorite scene in WandaVision. Do you have a favorite scene from WandaVision?
I do. It's the flashback episode. I think Previously On is what it's called.
Yeah.
And it's when she and Vision are at the headquarters, and Vision says, "What is
grief but love persevering?"
Grief but love.
Yeah.
It's that whole scene was like, it was kind of the Wanda and Vision relationship moment that I think the MCU needed.
Yeah,
but that whole episode was just I feel like I'm in a minority. I thought that was the best episode of the show.
No, dude, I completely agree with you because that was like I know people were like, oh, it was an exposition dump. Oh, it was just this or that, and it didn't really. It was like, I didn't really feel it. I was being told everything like that. I don't know. I thought it was such a great character piece. It weirdly almost operated as like a chamber piece in some ways. I mean, obviously considering the fact that it connects to the MCU, but just that aside, outside of the rest of the episode, it just like kind of, it took a minute to breathe and it considered the character drama before it divulged into, typical MCU schlock in the finale and almost completely ruined the show. So I would actually probably agree with you. I think that would be my favorite scene in the entire series. Maybe the only other one that comes close is when Wanda pushes Monica Rambeau out of the hex and then she turns around and Vision's dead. That was just a really cool moment because it was like, oh, that was so unexpected, and it was effective. So I really like that one as well. But while Zach is taking care. Oh, I thought you were heading out for a second. I was like, what was going on there?
Phone rang. I wanted to make sure I killed it.
Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. We got a few super chats in here, so I want to address those before we keep going on with the chat here. Sean Jensen, thank you so much for the super chat, dude. What is your favorite film of all time? For me, that would be Inception. It's been my favorite film since I saw it back in 2010, and I've only grown to love and appreciate it even more since I saw it. Zach.
Lawrence of Arabia.
That's right. You're big Lawrence of Arabia guy. That's right.
It's been my favorite film for about a decade. It's funny because it wasn't always my number one. It was always a top tier film for me from the first time I saw it. But it probably was like the 10th or 15th time I saw it that I really realized everything about this movie is perfect. Mm-hmm. It's masterful on the screenplay is incredible. Every performance, and there's like 15 main characters in it. Peter O'Toole's lead performance, every single frame of the cinematography, the way this thing is edited. And just like for a movie that's almost 4 hours long, the pacing blows me away. It's like I watch it a few times a year, which is insane for a 4 hour movie.
Yeah.
But every time I've watched it, it feels like 2.5 hours.
It's like when I watched Zack Snyder's Justice League back to back to back the week it came out.
Yeah, you were telling me about that. I still haven't seen it at all because I'm probably going to at some point, but probably just once.
Yeah, that's fair. But no, Lawrence of Arabia is one of those films, like especially for a lot of you like younger viewers and stuff like that. If you haven't seen it and you're like big into film and like film history and stuff like that, I mean, you got to watch Lawrence of Arabia. It's like the epic of all epics. Right up there. Like, I mean, it's better than Ben-Hur, but like that kind of caliber of like, classic epic films. So, definitely watch it if you haven't done so. We have another.
It'll blow your mind.
It's really good. And if you have the opportunity to see it in the same way that Zach did in like a theater at all, oh my God, it's incredible.
Yeah, I saw it in a theater for the first time a year ago, and that's like the 50th time I saw the movie, and it was like seeing it was fundamentally the same movie, but it was transformative at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we got another super chat in here from Michael asking thoughts on Pete Docter as a director. I love Pete Docter as a director. I think he, if you look at his filmography with Pixar, I mean, he's created their best films, like just plain and simple, not just Inside Out, but like Soul, Monsters Inc. I mean, he's a genius, and I think he just understands that in order for these films to work, like he has to, like obviously he has to take like his deep thoughtfulness from his adult brain and like put it in there, but like he knows how to approach this stuff in a way that can communicate with younger viewers as well. And I think that's just not a lot of people can do that. That's part of the magic of Pixar, and I think he is a key architect in just like the sort of like Pixar brand of filmmaking,
Yeah, I mean, he's the best Pixar director. I don't think there's really. I mean, there's I don't think any of the Pixar directors are bad, but Soul is the best Pixar movie for me. I mean, I wrote the FilmSpeak review.
On the site. That's right.
So you guys should check that out because it's a good review.
It is a good review.
But it's Pixar has always been allegories about what it is to be a human, and they've used toys, they've used cars, they've used bugs, they've used imaginary monsters. And he was the guy who really managed to take characters that are literally human beings and explore humanity in Pixar films. And I think Inside Out, Up, or sorry, did he do Up?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
So Inside Out, Up, and Soul, those are the three. Those are the three that explore the human condition deeper than I think most non-animated films do, let alone animation. So he's the best Pixar director, and he's an incredible director just in his own rights. Yeah. And I hope that we get 10 more Pixar films from him, because it seems like every time he hits a grand slam.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. He just has that grapple on it, and I mean there's a reason why he's, he, again, like we said, he makes some of their best movies. So I love Pete Docter. He's incredible. Okay, Luke Reviews. Good question here. So I got a question about your Kong Skull Island video. How long is a script like that, and how many pages? Well, actually, I'm glad you brought this up, because Zach did contribute to that script and the writing process, and I think that came into about over 5,000 words or something like that. Yeah, it was about 5,050. Okay, there we go. 5,050.
It was about 8.5 pages, and I know because I poured over that thing for way too long and struggled with it to add input, so I had to rewatch the film, which I hate. Yeah. So I'm vividly aware of how long that script is, because it will haunt me for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that was an incredible collaboration there on that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, usually with stuff like that, I mean, whenever I'm doing those kind of videos, I'm not really concerned with how many words it is, how many pages it is. It's sort of just as I'm going to write out how I feel about a certain topic, and however long it ends up being, that's how long the video is. Now, obviously in the editing process, I'll go in and I'll cut stuff out if it seems like I'm being repetitive, or even in the scripting process, I'll go in, trim stuff out, just sort of cut down on the long-windedness of the video. But yeah, I mean, listen, it's an almost 30-minute video. That's 8 pages or so. It's a big boy. And the I don't know, what would you say? Would you say the Tomorrow Never Dies one that we're working on is probably going to be around the same length, or do you think a little shorter or longer?
I think it could be longer.
I think so too.
If we really want to dive into the social commentary, the unintentional social commentary.
Well, I think it is intentional, but.
Yeah, well, it's kind of unintentionally predictive. I don't think that Firestein, when he was writing the script, could have possibly imagined that the world would actually end up like that.
I think he had a lot of foresight just because he was a journalist. We're way off track here, but I mean, the Tomorrow Never Dies video that we're working on is going to be very extensive. It's going to be very hefty. It's going to be personal to me in my relationship with the film. So it is. You're gonna love it. I really hope you guys enjoy it. Even if you aren't the biggest Bond fan, I think it's it'll be a fun watch, regardless. But yeah, for sure. Okay, so Blue Bumblebee asking, first question: what is your favorite movie in Zach's DC trilogy? Well, I know this is definitely geared towards Zach over here, Mister.
Yeah, my favorite director. Yeah. I guess by default, Man of Steel, because I just kind of feel meh about Man. I basically feel all the Clark Kent stuff in Man of Steel is actually really good, and all of the Superman stuff isn't. Yeah. Whereas I really hate Batman versus Superman, and I haven't seen the Snyder Cut yet, so I'm sure it's an improvement over the Joss Whedon version, which is pile of hot garbage. But I can't say yet. So far, Man of Steel. We'll see if that changes. Yeah, for sure. I weirdly enough, I think you might. I think if this question was asked after you saw the Snyder Cut, I think you'd be saying the Snyder Cut, because I just from everyone that I've talked to who they weren't too keen on BVS, they were kind of middle of the road with Man of Steel. They seem to be loving Justice League. So I don't know if that's any indication. Maybe you'll end up
loving it. But I think for me, it is still BVS Ultimate with the Snyder Cut as my second favorite, followed by Man of Steel, which is kind of crazy because Man of Steel used to be my favorite out of the three. But then I just did a recent rewatch of the trilogy leading up to the Snyder Cut. And while I still love Man of Steel, I think the best comparison that I can sort of make when it comes to these is Man of Steel is basically like Batman 89 for Snyder, and then BVS Ultimate is like Batman Returns for Snyder. It's far more of like a Zack Snyder movie, going into the things that he's interested in exploring as a filmmaker. Whereas like that first one, they definitely were trying to play more into like, okay, let's make it Zack Snyder, but let's make it a little bit more broadly appealing. And then weirdly enough, I think Justice League, while it's an incredibly Zack Snyder movie, might be his most accessible film, even more so than Man of Steel. So I don't know. It's interesting, but they're all, I love all of them. I love all of them. Okay, so Tony Movie Chappie, D9 Neil Blomkamp, #1 fan, asking, what was the first interview you ever did, and were you scared the first time when you did it? So I had no idea what I was doing the first time I had to go in and interview someone, and weirdly enough, it was, of all people it could have been, it was Hugo Weaving for for Mortal, what was it, Mortal Engines, that weird Peter Jackson movie that he produced that was awful, that I actually had to interview him like a couple days after for. So that was like also, you know, like, yeah, you want to know like what my first experience was like. It was trial by fire. Hugo Weaving followed by Peter Jackson. I was literally shitting my pants the entire time. Like that's absurd. So yeah, the first time I did one of those, yeah, I went in to interview Hugo Weaving, and I had never done one before, and so I thought it was like this, you know, like a typical junket. Like they'd have the camera set up, you go in, you sit down, you ask your questions, they give you the footage, whatever, it's over. No, I went into like a dressing room or something with Hugo, who was already sitting there. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess there's a camera somewhere, like hiding, like recording this whole thing. And so I ask him the first question, and he gives me this great answer, and I'm like, you know, I should probably just record this just in case. So thank God I had like the instinct to sort of like think on my feet. And so I whipped out my phone. I was like, hey, I'm sorry, I thought they were gonna be like recording this. I'm just gonna record this on my phone real quick and set it right over here. And he's like, no, that's fine. And so I did that, and then I went through the interview the rest of the time, and thankfully it went really well. So that was my first experience. Zach, what was your first experience? I think yours was earlier this year.
Yeah,
right?
well, you know, yeah, because I never conducted an interview, and you kind of just threw me one. It was Roseanne Lang for Shadow in the Cloud.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I was fucking horrified the entire time I was preparing for it. I was preparing and fine-tuning my questions until 25 seconds before the Zoom call started. And that actually, funnily enough, I think that interview turned out really well.
Yeah.
And then I interviewed, you know, like I've only done 3 interviews. I honestly, I don't see myself being David Frost. I don't think it's a regular thing for me.
No one's asking you to be David Frost.
I know, but I just mean, like I'm more of a writer and like discussing things person than I am like a.
Sure.
Or a conversation like this, whereas the interview, it's kind of too formal almost.
Sure.
But I got to talk to Alan Kim from Minari, which was just like, it was super light. It wasn't even really about the film. It was just like, hey, this kid's an incredible actor. I've got like 10 minutes with him. Yeah. I just want to have fun and like, you know, get a couple smiles out of him and elevate his profile a bit.
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
The one really cool thing was then I got to talk to Tom Siegel, who's the DP for Cherry, but he's also for The Five Bloods and the first 2 X-Men movies and The Usual Suspects. One of my favorite cinematographers. And I got to talk to him for like 80 minutes. And
that was incredible.
A complete nerd.
Yeah. That was like a really just like pleasure to listen back to. So I thoroughly love that piece. And actually, we do have a special guest, Mr. Zach Pope, joining the stream.
Hey,
buddy. How you doing?
Hey, how you guys doing? Good, man. You know, jumping in after editing a video and before dinner. So how you guys all?
Go. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. talking over each other and making it awkward like these streams usually are. Actually, you know what? This is a good question for you. What was your first interview experience like, and were you scared when you did it?
Oh, yeah. What was my first? Did I do one before we went to South by? I'm trying to think.
I was trying to think about like on the past ones you did. Didn't you do like a round table or something?
So
like
I know I did. So Sean Anders, the guy who did Instant Family, that was technically my first one. And then after that, I did the guy who did the Ted Bundy film, and then we went to South by, and I got to do Lupita Nyong'o on the red carpet.
Right.
And that's it. But yeah, no, I mean, I was nervous as hell. I mean, because it's like, even if it's Sean Anders, you know, it's like, you don't know.
Well, that's the thing. You don't want to fuck up, and you don't want to like look like an idiot, because you're trying to do your job, and you're trying to like, okay, let's. And so you come in like over prepared and everything, and then you're just like nervous. And then, like, when it's over, you just feel like you've like blacked out or something.
Oh,
yeah. What the hell just happened?
Oh, it's over.
Like,
yeah, because it goes by like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the one I just did for you, like that. It was like 17 minutes.
Kevin Kiner.
And it didn't even feel like it didn't feel like 17 minutes. It felt like 5. Yeah. So, but that's how interviews should feel. I mean, if it feels longer than that, then it's probably just awkward.
Yeah, for sure.
So, which I know you've told me some of the interviews you've done, which have felt like an eternity.
There have been a few that went on far too long and were disaster. Actually, it was that Toy Story trip.
Yeah,
it was that Toy Story trip that we took. Holy shit, dude, that was a disaster. What I was thinking of. It was like back to back to back, like fucking awful experiences. Like the first one where I went in and I talked to Annie Potts, she was not feeling it at all, and I didn't know what the fuck I was gonna ask her anyways. And so I came in and I had like, okay, I'm like, all right, I got a few bullet points here. I can probably get her going for like 15 minutes. Like that's fine. My God, it was like fucking pulling teeth. It was a disaster.
I remember you called me and Tyler right after that.
I couldn't even believe it. Yeah, and then and then it was like from there, and then I went into Tony Hale, and I felt like I was like shooken up from that. So then that one was awkward, and then I went to Christina Hendricks, and I had like something in my eye, and my eye was watering. I was like, I'm so sorry, I need to like wipe my eye. Like, it was a disaster.
The trip was fun though. The trip was fun. Worth it.
Yeah. That trip was stupid. Like that was ridiculous. The kind of trip it was, they gave me and like 2 other people an all expenses free paid trip to Disney World to go see Toy Story 4, do the junket, and then go to Disney World. Like it was,
and we got unlimited fast pass. That was the coolest thing.
That was fucking stupid. Like
when you let me and Tyler just go do whatever, we went and did every ride. I mean that was we did every single ride. So no, it was fun though, and doing interviews is fun.
Was that the trip where you guys gave Griffin the good morning call? With
the fucking goofy one. Yeah. Oh my God. That was
so like Tyler wanted to wake you up, and I was like, dude, they do good morning calls. You gotta call. I remember when we called, the lady's like, you really want 3 a.m.? We're like, yeah, 3 a.m.
Oh my God, that was the dumbest. I couldn't even believe it. I was just like, what the fuck is this? Like, stupidest shit ever.
The worst thing is we hung up. Yeah. And then they called back. That's the thing.
Yeah, I did not expect that. We got like 2 goofy wake up calls in one day, which is, 2 times too many for most people.
Just wait till we book you the goofy interview, Griffin.
All right, let's not do that. All right, we got another question here from Knight Rider. Django Unchained is my favorite movie of all time. Where does it rank for you among Quentin Tarantino's filmography? I think it's top 3 for me. I don't know about you guys, but
it's my number 1. That's my number 1. I love Django. It's incredible what he does with that movie, and like how he really made his own like Western, because I like pretty much every Tarantino film. Like for me, I don't feel like he has like that weak one that stands out. But yeah, it's either my number 1 or my number 2. I go back and forth, but Once Upon a Time's really starting to go up there a lot. The more I revisit that one.
Yeah, that one I think that might be my number 2 for right now. Number 2 or. Yeah, I don't know. Zach, where's Django for you?
You know what? It seems to ping pong every time I watch it. Like it's been number 1 at points in time. It's been number 5. Right now it's number 4. Okay. I think the one that's set in stone at number 1 for me, and I don't know why this is an unpopular pick. I don't know why it doesn't get the attention it deserves. Jackie Brown is the guy's masterpiece.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
It's like that's my favorite film of the '90s, like the entire decade.
Wow.
Shit, dude.
And it's just like it's another one of those movies that I have no criticism of. I can't think of something to point out and go, this didn't work. Even like a tiny little thing, like it's like every moment of it. It's and you know, I get that it's an adaptation of Rum Punch and that plays into it, but like just the whole screenplay is it's another masterclass.
Yeah.
You know, Pam Grier and Robert Forster, that screen couple is like iconic to me.
Mhm.
I get that people wanted another Pulp Fiction, and that's why it didn't do so well at the box office. But in retrospect, I don't know why it hasn't gotten picked up the way that it should be.
You make a good point. I think it is one that like definitely. I mean, it's always flown under the radar, but like you would think like now, you know, with the way people talk about Tarantino and like the fact, you know, old movies sometimes come back around, that it would, you know, come back into the zeitgeist a little bit more, and people would come to appreciate it more. But yeah, it hasn't really had that turn yet. But
I think it's starting to, though, because I've seen a lot of people on Twitter like talk about, like, I think Silver Screen Analysis, Anthony, I think that's his favorite Tarantino film. So a lot of people like Jackie Brown. I would go as far as say I love the script for that movie. I think that script's just really good, and it has some of the great performances. It's a great Tarantino film. It's just when you rank his movies, I mean, it's tough because they're all good. they're all really good.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's really weird because it's like the only ones that I don't go back and revisit all that much, and I know like they're like people love these ones, but it's the Kill Bill films. They're probably the ones that I watch the least.
Death Proof outside of maybe are the ones. Yeah.
Oh, dude, Death Proof is a top 5 Tarantino.
I wish I liked it. I wish I liked it. It's my least favorite.
Death Proof is like the only one that I just flat out don't like. I just never got it. Though actually, the one that I would say, even though you know Jackie Brown, I think doesn't get enough appreciation. I think The Hateful Eight is the underrated one. It got a lot of flack when it came out. Like people were shitting on that movie.
Yeah. I don't get why.
Part of the problem is the theatrical version. Like it's great, but it's there's something missing by not having. Like I saw the Roadshow version because it was only shown in like one theater.
Me too.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
Intermission
and the little books though.
Yeah,
It felt more like the epic Western homage with those things added, and 99% of people didn't see that version because it only got played in like one theater in each city.
Yeah, that's how mine was. I remember it sold out fast because the tickets went up, and I'm like, I'm gonna see this, and the tickets were not cheap either. But I bought two. I bought one for me and my friend last minute was not able to go. So I was like looking. I ended up just going by myself. I was like, fuck it, I'm not missing out. I'll just return the ticket. But it was totally worth it. I loved that whole experience. I wish they did more stuff like that.
Yeah, stuff like that is it's fun, and it plays into that like that's like an example of like you're giving the audience like a reason to go to the theater. It's like you don't get that experience at home. You make it an event, and I think that stuff like that, or stuff like Nolan's films or whatever. You can't really beat that. It's awesome.
It's really like it's like Reservoir Dogs is a Western too.
Yeah. That's
it's really nice. It's really nice.
Good point.
And I just think that because he's only done that really twice, it was kind of a nice change of pace.
What do you guys want him to do for his last film? Well, quote unquote, his last movie.
I kind of want a Star Trek movie.
Yeah, that Star Trek movie was very interesting.
I just want a sci-fi film from him. I would either want him to dive into straight sci-fi or straight horror, but I feel like he's gonna end on a Western. That's just like my gut feeling. He's gonna end on a Western. It's his favorite genre. It seems like.
If it's like a good through and through Western, like I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean something different would be interesting to me. For sure.
I'd be more interested in like his take on he's done neo-noirs, but like an actual like period.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, some sort of like 1940s, like fuck it, maybe even make it black and white, like some sort of like noir movie.
And
like
who would you want to see? Like, would you want him to take an actor who hasn't been around for a while, or would you want him to grab someone maybe like in the modern light right now?
Jeff Bridges hasn't been in a Tarantino film yet.
Ooh, that'd be great.
Then we got to fix that. We got to fix that. Yeah, I'd be down for that. Honestly, I'd put Brad Pitt in his movie again.
Yeah.
In some capacity, and I'll be fair.
Also, I put John Hamm in his movie because that hasn't either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That he seems like an actor.
If you're gonna do like a hard-edged noir film, I mean, that's like
make him your protagonist. Yeah.
So
okay, I like
get the biggest cast yet.
Yeah.
You know,
all right,
Tarantino's listening, so.
Yeah, right. Of course, he's listening to this. All right, Ryan McQuaid, how's it going, buddy? He's got 2 questions here. Why am I your best friend in the whole world? I don't know. I didn't realize that, but okay. I'm just kidding. All right. The second, rank your top 5 MCU movies. I'm gonna pull up my official letterboxed list here, so that I don't have to think about it on the spot. But Zach Marsh, because there's 2 Zachs in here. Zach, go. What's your top 5?
I just know mine. Number 5 is Black Panther for me. Number 4 is Far From Home. And then my top 3 are all like 10s for me. Right now, as it stands, it's The Winter Soldier at 3, Civil War at 2, and Endgame at 1. But I feel like if next time I watch it, The Winter Soldier might make its way back to number 1 again.
Yeah.
But they're separated by like 3 spots on my overall film thing. So
yeah, for sure.
The one thing that might change is I want to watch Iron Man 3 again because it keeps going higher and higher every time. It's like number 8 right now. I feel like it could unseat Black Panther from that top 5. And it's more just because like the third act of Black Panther, I have an issue with Daniel Kaluuya's character not switching back to T'Challa's side after he turns out to be alive. That just didn't really make sense in the world of the film and the way that the political structure is. It's a complicated issue I have with it, but Iron Man 3, on the other hand, I like it more and more every time I see it.
Yeah, that's fair. I totally agree with you, and I used to hate that movie, and now I love it. But Zach, what's your top 5? What do you got?
Well, first off, I remember when you had that epiphany of Iron Man 3. You texted me entire in the group chat, and he's like flipping out. He goes, "What was I missing?"
Yeah,
like,
dude, it was
a great film.
Yeah, it was a come to Jesus moment for sure. I think I love that movie even more than yeah.
It's great. So my number 5 is Spider-Man: Far From Home. I mean, if it has Mysterio, it's going to stay in my top 5 no matter what. I mean, that's my favorite Spider-Man villain. 4 is Infinity War. 3 is Black Panther. 2 is Avengers Endgame. And 1 is Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't think anything will ever take off Guardians for me. When they announced that film, I was just like, they're really going to do it. And they pulled it off for the most part. I think that just shows that like these characters didn't need solo films. Like you could totally do it all in one movie, and it's just a blast of fun. Like it's one film I can just consistently rewatch over and over. If Endgame's 3 hours, that's some dedication, but probably the best third act ever for a comic book film, for a film in general. So
I've begun to feel like Infinity War. I love it, but I just feel like there's a lot of tonal inconsistency in it. Like I feel like if you cut out a bunch of the comedy and like shortened it by like 15 minutes, it would probably rank higher for me. Mm-hmm. So it's just one of one of those weird ones that I think it's a great film, but I can see the room for improvement.
In Infinity War or Endgame?
Infinity War.
Infinity War, right? Okay, yeah. I get it because like when I first saw Infinity War, I mean, I think many of us were like taken back by it, just like the spectacle, like Thor's entrance, like it's really well paced and it's like a really tight movie, and it's probably one of the most technically proficient films in the MCU.
Yeah.
But it's just like I have no desire to go back to it for some reason. Like I'll just go watch Endgame if I want to watch a movie like that.
It's hard to watch it on its own, right? Like
it is.
You have to watch both. I mean,
yeah, you do. Yeah.
But like I can watch Endgame on its own because Endgame kind of feels it feels like more of a complete story compared to Infinity War.
Yeah.
If I watch Infinity War, I kind of have to watch Endgame after.
Yeah. I also struggle from the fact that it's like Infinity War feels it's less epic than what they think it is, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
whereas like Endgame feels like the epic sort of like massive movie that it's trying to be.
Well, and like that's why I say like Infinity War is the Two Towers in a sense. It's heavy
I guess that's
action
true.
throughout the
Yeah,
entire
yeah.
thing. Where Endgame is Return of the King. Like I
Yeah.
just did like a marathon of Lord of the Rings. Return of the King is insanely like epic throughout.
Yeah.
Pretty much the last 2 hours is all action, but
Yeah.
meaty action. Like there's an emotion to it. Where like Endgame, it's so greatly structured. The first act is all an epilogue. The second act is how are we going to do this? And the third
Yeah.
act's the giant action set piece. I mean, literally the third act is that last fight seems almost an hour. That from when Thanos comes back to Tony going like that. So
yeah.
Well, and
No,
that's my other thing with Infinity Wars. My other issue, and I've always had this issue with it, is that they're never all like together in a fight in Infinity War. Like they're fragmented. You've got like 3 set pieces going on at the same time, and I would rather see like one battle in an MCU film, rather than 3 that they're cross cutting between or whatever.
Yeah. That part didn't bother me so much, and actually I liked the build up. Like the build up to Thor landing in Wakanda is one of the best sequences in the entire MCU. Like don't get me wrong, but it also did sort of feel like in hindsight. I had a friend tell me this when he first saw it, and I was like, nah, I don't believe you. But like after sitting on it for a little bit, in hindsight, it does sort of feel like they blew their load a little too early in that movie. Because like the rest of it doesn't really reach those highs of that, and like even like the snap at the end, like it was like sort of like surprising, but it was like, okay, well, we know these guys are going to come back.
Well, and that's the thing. The second you see like Black Panther die, like that, and that was the one thing I said. Like when I watched that film, I was like, oh, okay, like I already know they're getting a sequel. I will say though, for a general movie going audience, when I saw that thing with like a crowd who doesn't know what anything, there was this lady next to me by herself, turns and looks at me and goes, "You sound like you know. Is there another one?" That's exactly what she told me. Is there going to be another one? And I said, yes, next year. And she goes, "Oh, thank God." And I'm like, see? And I said, okay, for that, that's cool. And then like talking to my friends who obviously were not versed into it was the same thing. What's going to happen? Not knowing there's going to be a Black Panther 2 or not knowing there's another Spider-Man coming out.
Yeah.
I have to say too, with the snap, the people that get snapped, like there wasn't really any surprise to it. Like I was watching the movie as soon as he goes up to Peter Parker and says, "You're an Avenger now," I'm like, oh, he's the last person. He's the last person getting snapped. The one surprise, Black Panther.
Yeah, he was a surprise. Yeah,
as if Okoye is about to be the one who disappears, and all of a sudden the suit just evaporates, and it's like, holy shit.
You know what kind of bugs me about that whole thing? I almost feel like he should have been in Endgame. I almost feel like T'Challa should have been in there.
Oh yeah. I agree. But I wonder, was he filming anything else during that? Was he?
I don't know. Honestly, I mean, maybe he was filming like
21
Bridges, but it's not like he's gonna.
I still haven't seen that film. That's the only Chadwick Boseman movie I've never seen. So
don't waste your time. But yeah, anyways, my top 5 are let's see, we got number 5 is Ant-Man and the Wasp. Number 4 is Ant-Man. Number 3 is Spider-Man Far From Home. Number 2 is Endgame, and number 1 is The Winter Soldier. So I will not be taking any comments or criticisms of the placement of the Ant-Man films at this time.
They're fucking great.
Fucking perfect. So.
Hey, you know what? Think about this. When that third film drops, if it's great, it's top. It's one of the best trilogies in the Marvel Universe.
I'll go as far as to say this. If that third one is as good as the other 2, it will be the best trilogy in the MCU. Because what?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, it depends on Spider-Man, too. It depends on Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, I guess that. Yeah, but I struggle with Homecoming, personally.
Oh, yeah, you do. I forgot about that.
But for me, because it's like, it would be the Cap movies, but I've become less fond of Civil War. Iron Man, I don't think anyone's going to really advocate for that. Thor, way. Guardians, the second. I mean,
you're not a fan of the second one.
No, and I mean, even if the third one's good, it's only 2 good ones.
But Ant-Man, each they're consistent.
They're consistent. They're consistent.
Consistent, mediocre.
Oh,
man.
no,
You're
no, no.
crazy.
But
There's so much fun.
I don't mind the first one. I really hate Ant-Man and the Wasp.
It's so
Ant-Man and the
much
Wasp
fun.
feels like everyone that shits on, and again, the MCU is my favorite film franchise. Like, it's even above like Bond and Star Trek, the things that I'm like a lifelong fan of. The consistency of these films and the universe they built, like, there will never be anything like the MCU ever again, and there never was before, for sure.
That's fair.
It changed cinema, and I think it changed it for the better. But the Ant-Man and the Wasp feels like all of the criticisms people have about the MCU, like the quips and the constant, like, oh, this is setting up this, and the CGI, like, it feels like all the criticism of the MCU wrapped up into one film.
I'm all for it.
I disagree. In the words of Howie Bling, I disagree. Quick aside here. Michael wants to know if anyone knows how to multiply radicals. He has homework. I'm going to be 100% honest. I haven't thought about radicals in over 5 years. Coming
Same.
up on
Good
10.
luck. Hey, there's an
I'm
app
having
though.
a mental block.
There's an app called Mathway. Use it.
Wait, what was that, Zach?
There's an app called
high school math
Mathway.
class was like
There's two of us. There's fucking two of us. There's fucking two of us.
Sorry, Zach Pope.
I was gonna say use the app Mathway. It helps. You literally take a picture of your problem and it'll give you the answer.
Well, there you go, Michael. Hopefully we've been able to help you with your homework this evening. Okay, let me go back to the question. Oh, wait, hold on. We got a super chat in here. I'll answer that real quick. Sean Brown, thank you so much, dude. Have you seen Swallow? One of the most beautifully shot movies with body horror. It's a movie about a woman with pica, but the main message is more about finding oneself. Yeah, I have seen Swallow. I thought it was okay. I think the concept is interesting, but they didn't fully execute the concept the way I would have liked to have seen. That being said, there are some pretty gnarly well, not gnarly, but there's like some really suspenseful moments when she's like swallowing certain things and you're just like, fuck.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Have you guys seen that?
I haven't seen it. It's one that I wanted to, but then I heard your reaction and a couple others, and I was like,
Yeah.
If it's on Netflix or something, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to pay for it.
Yeah.
I actually just had to check because I was like, I wasn't sure if I'd seen it or if it was another horror film I'm thinking of. I haven't seen it, but it's in my watch list. I'm kind of interested in it. I feel like I've disparaged horror movies of the past, like, 21st century, but I feel like the last few years horror movies have actually become like a respectable, serious, like, auteur kind of genre again.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So I'm looking. There's a bunch that I want to see. I want to see Possessor too.
Possessor's excellent.
Possessor's. I know. I had a friend message me today. He goes, "What's wrong with the horror genre? Why it's all crap, dude?" I sent him like 10 movies. I'm like, "You should definitely see these 10 horror films." And he goes, "When did they come out?" I was like, "Last year." Like, there's good horror. There's good horror.
Yeah, I know. You got to look outside of like the studio tentpole stuff. It's all in the indie realm right now. That's where the best horror is being made.
Yeah.
Rhino Tool, is John Walker going to have a redemption by the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier? I don't think so. I think he's going to be a recurring foil for Sam and Bucky, and I think that we're going to see some interesting things sort of happen with his character. I was actually just talking to one of my roommates yesterday, and he said that he thinks that John Walker is going to go through a similar arc as Cap did in the first Avenger, but it's going to be like this weird Black Mirror version of what happened. So like his friend is going to die, but it's going to send him down on the path of like, evil and whatnot. I have a feeling that like Zemo's probably going to recruit him for like Masters of Evil or something like that. So I don't think. I think by the time Falcon and the Winter Soldier is over, that will not be the last time that we see John Walker, and he will not be redeemed.
Well, and you don't get Wyatt Russell to just be one show and done. I think Marvel's kind of learned their lesson to not, like, if the villain is like from the comics is pretty respectful, you don't just kill him off and one off him. I mean, I know they just did that with Mysterio, but he's not dead. Let's be honest, he ain't dead.
No.
There's no way he's dead, but I'm excited to see what they do with him. This is a character that I was actually shocked in the last episode that they already went into his background a little bit. I wasn't expecting that. Again, We only got 6 episodes for this season, so I know they kind of got to move stuff along a little bit faster. But no, he's an interesting character. I don't know much about him from the comics, so from what I do know, I think we're in store for something. But also right now, I don't think he needs redemption. He's not that big of a dick yet. I mean, yeah. No one wants him to be Captain America, but like he hasn't done anything yet. That's the key. The key is yet. I think he will eventually sort of like he starts out as like a normal guy that you can kind of sympathize with, but then he kind of like has a downward fall. Yeah. I think that's definitely the route the character's going on. But yeah, Zach Marsh.
Well, I was just gonna mirror. Like I feel like it's too early to ask that question because he hasn't done anything that he really needs redemption for. I don't think. He's shown that he can be a bit of a hard ass when it comes to getting the mission done and like stay out of my way, but like he just seems like an affable, like decent person who is given this because one, he's obviously got insane physical abilities, but he also just seems like he is a decent person that wants to do right for like his country and for people. I actually would kind of be interested if they just kind of kept on that line. Like I feel like I'd be a little bit disappointed if it turns out that he's like some evil person or he turns evil or does something terrible. I would rather have that continue. And I think it's just more, find a different way to get the shield back to Sam Wilson.
Yeah, that's a great point because I think the thing with Walker right now is like we hate him because we're supposed to hate him because that shield was supposed to go to Sam. Sam was supposed to be Captain America, but the bad guy isn't John Walker. It's the United States government, and that's obviously very apparent in the show that the government is the real villain here, which I like. But I that's an interesting point. I do now you got me kind of hoping that they don't necessarily make him out to be a full-blown villain. Maybe he does some questionable things. Maybe he's a little bit of a dick. But like I think that is you bring up a good point. I mean, like he was just a guy hired to do a job. That's ultimately what it was, and he is doing that job regardless of whether we like him or not. Just given where the shield was supposed to go, but. All right, let's see. What do we got here? Some more questions.
You just got another super chat, by the way. I don't know if you saw
did
that.
I really? Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's all the way at it just came in.
I'll put it down there. Thanks again, Sean. Really appreciate it, man. Is there an actor or actress that as soon as you see them attached to a project, you immediately lose interest? Now, that's an interesting question.
Yeah. Usually it's the opposite way.
Yeah, usually it's the other way around. I don't know. I got to think about that for a sec. Do either of you have one?
I kind of, when Jennifer Lawrence's name comes up in something, it doesn't turn me off of it necessarily, but it's just kind of like, okay, who's she working with? And I mean, there are other actors, so I feel like there was a 2 or 3 year period where it was just like I love Jessica Chastain, but it was like, oh, Jessica Chastain's in this movie too.
Yeah.
Could they not have given someone else a chance? Like, I think that's the only that's the problem with the idea of bangable stars is you start to see them everywhere. I like to see different performers, so I think it's just generally when the same actor starts showing up in everything, whether or not I like them, that's kind of when I get a little burnt out by them, which is maybe not fair to them, but like it's just kind of a psychological thing.
Mm-hmm. For me, I don't think it's an actor or actress thing. I think I more get it with directors. That's
usually the way I am.
Like the guy who does the Resident Evils and the Monster Hunters and stuff like that. That stuff, like him, Michael Bay. But then it depends who's starring. I mean, Michael Bay's doing a film with Jake Gyllenhaal right now, so
that's true. That's true.
I'm somewhat interested now. So it's just it mostly goes with pairs. I think that's a big thing. So if like Mark Wahlberg and what's his face, Peter Berg decide to do another film, I don't care. I don't care at all. Michael Bay and Mark Wahlberg. But then you pair Mark Wahlberg up with Martin Scorsese, okay. I'm all for it. So it just depends, I think, more on pairings than anything else.
Yeah, I that is a good point. It is more like if it's a pairing that I've seen like one too many times and I'm kind of over it. I'm sort of just like, okay. Like if I saw another like Peter Berg, Mark Wahlberg movie, not to keep bringing up Mark Wahlberg, but he kind of falls into this trap. But like, yeah, if I see another Peter Berg and Mark Wahlberg movie, I'll kind of go, okay, I know what I'm getting into with this one. And it's not like I'm gonna lose interest, but I'm like not as excited if maybe I saw someone else do something. But yeah, it's not usually a case with actors. I'm with Zach. It usually is like a case with directors. Like if it's someone, like I'll be honest with you. When John Watts was announced that like that he was going to be doing the Fantastic Four movie, immediately lost a lot of interest. I was like, that's who you chose, really? Okay.
But then again, could blow us away. That's the way I'm viewing. I try until Kevin Feige fails me. I mean. Like if No Way Home comes out and if it's not great, do we blame Kevin Feige or do we blame Sony? You know,
I don't know,
that's tough. So, but like he hasn't failed us yet. I mean, every Marvel film's at least consistently at least good. Like I would argue there's not a bad what,
except for the Incredible Hulk.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Horrible.
No way. I just rewatched
it. There is no way that it's worse than Thor 2 or Iron Man 2.
At least those ones, they have some kind of context in the thing. You can skip the Incredible Hulk and not miss anything. There's nothing.
But I don't think that makes it a bad movie though.
I have problems with the film, but even beyond that, it's just Mark Ruffalo's first scene in the Avengers is a better introduction in and of itself than that entire movie is for the Hulk to the MCU.
I agree with that. I actually prefer Ed Norton, I think, as Hulk over Mark Ruffalo.
Oh, I agree, but
I think it was more interesting.
Still good.
Yeah,
but honestly, I just don't think they've done enough stuff with the characters since Mark's joined.
Yeah.
Like I think the most interesting stuff they've done with him was Age of Ultron, and they didn't even go full on it. They just were like, hey. You're gonna be with Black Widow, and let's not explore that at all. You know.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is like before the MCU. I mean, who were the top three? Like Captain America, Spider-Man, and the Hulk, probably.
Yeah.
As far as just general people, and then you came out with like Iron Man, and like you brought in all these characters that people didn't really care about, and all of a sudden they loved them, and so you ended up like as a result, I think the Hulk kind of got sidelined as the guy who was popular before. But then got overshadowed when they started to make the MCU.
Yeah, people forget that the Incredible Hulk only came out like a couple of months after that first Iron Man movie.
And I think a big thing of that is Marvel was trying to figure out what tone do they want? More Iron Man, more Hulk? And Iron Man was the success, and that's the direction they went in.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, another question here from Ryan. Thoughts on the Mortal Kombat movie being pushed back a week? I sure, yeah. I think the rationale behind it was to give Godzilla versus Kong more time to rake in money at the box office, because that has been outperforming everyone's calculations, predictions, all sorts of stuff. I mean, the amount of money that it made.
You see the rental things? 10,000 private rental parties.
Yeah, man.
And even in Arizona, these theaters are like sold out for this film. That is insane. Like I have friends telling me I want to go see this film, and I'm like, you don't even go to the movies when it was normal, and you want to go see Godzilla. I had a friend I was talking to him about the movie last night, and he goes, "Don't tell me, don't I don't want to know anything about it." And I was like, "Okay, all right." Like that's fine. Usually you don't care. It's crazy. I actually think there's three different things for it being pushed back. One, if you got a subscription for the Zack Snyder Justice League, it's going to renew the week before Mortal Kombat now comes out. That's why it's also. I also think, from what I understand, it did not get pushed internationally, so it's still coming out, and I think that's a big thing. Build the hype internationally and then bring it here.
Well, also the other thing that I wanted to bring up that my friend sent me from, what was it, Todd Garner, the producer. He like retweeted the thing and he said like more theaters are opening. Warner Brothers is very excited about this movie, so I think it has to do something about like theater availability. And obviously
because Europe's still not open. Europe doesn't open until the end of May. So
right, exactly.
A big thing.
Yeah. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's ultimately like they're strategically planning how they want to do this. So
yeah.
Okay, let's see. Real quickly, Blake Sebastian, WandaVision or Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
WandaVision
far,
right now.
So far, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because I think that like between the two shows previously on, which is episode 8 of WandaVision, is the best individual episode. But I think that both episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier are like one step or two behind that. WandaVision's been really kind of inconsistent, but mostly still good, really good. But I think Falcon and Winter Soldier has been incredible so far.
I'm waiting for and with what you're saying, I'm waiting for Falcon and Winter Soldier to hit that deep level of what WandaVision hit with grief. I'm waiting for Falcon and Winter Soldier to hit that deep level with race, because I feel like they're starting to explore it, but I need them to like go deeper. If they're going to mention it, I want them to really hit hard with it.
I think
and bring it around, and that's what I'm hoping. I think that actually has some reasoning for the shield and everything.
Yeah, yeah. Like I think to do that, they have to do it across all 6 episodes. Like the WandaVision thing, making grief like really centering that on one episode was right, because that's an emotion. Whereas like the social commentary, if you're going to make something that's a major theme, it can't just be for 1/6 of it. Like it's got to come up constantly throughout. So I think them spreading it out, which I'm almost certain is going to happen, it's the right call. And I think when the piece finishes, it'll just I just see it getting better week to week.
Yeah, I think right now, I am like if we're comparing this to the first 2 episodes of WandaVision to the first 2 episodes of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I'm more so on WandaVision's side. But again, if we're looking at that series as a whole, that final episode does a lot to like undo a lot of what I enjoyed about that series. So I think for right now, while I'm like, okay, yeah, WandaVision has a slight edge, I think when it's all said and done, Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going to be the better show.
Hopefully. Hopefully they both had to film their endings during COVID. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I think there's less risk of the Winter Soldier, like Falcon Winter Soldier ending going off the rails because of that.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, there's been some action sequences, but it's not like the CGI heavy, effects fest that WandaVision had to be because of.
It's grounded. It's very grounded. And that's what I like. These first 3 things we're getting from Phase 4, it's like 3 different things going on in the whole entire universe. You have the magic and the supernatural, you have the grounded, and then Loki's going to be like the space and cosmic type element. So I like how, and it seems like that's what Phase 4 is. Black Widow's grounded. Shang-Chi's going to probably dive into that supernatural type kind of grounded stuff. And then what's after that? Eternals.
Yeah.
So it's all going in those directions.
Yeah, for sure. We got an interesting question here from Hector Gonzalez. If you could choose a great director to direct a famous bad movie, who and what movie would it be? What do you guys got? Maybe you guys have any ideas?
That's interesting.
You guys are stumping us today. These questions are good.
I have one that jumps in my head, and I don't know a specific director, but I'm not gonna. It's too soon and too cruel for me to say it. But
say it.
No. Okay. Well, have anyone else direct Promising Young Woman?
Wow.
Anyone else?
Wow.
All right. Outside of that,
that's just so the tone deafness of that movie is just. But anyway, I moving on. A famous bad movie. I mean, it's just it would be funny to see like a Coppola direct like The Room.
Yeah, right. That would be
someone gets
like a Tarantino directing The Room. I think would be funny.
I was gonna say Tarantino directs Serenity.
Yeah,
too. Serenity.
I don't hate Serenity, but that's what a comedy.
I don't hate Serenity either. That's just a comedy. It's seriously. I laughed so hard throughout that entire movie. I watched that film with my friend, and I told him, "I'm so sorry, we're about to watch something boring." And he, middle of the movie, looks over at me. He goes, "This is the best thing I've ever seen in my life." And we were just making fun of the damn thing the whole entire time. Yeah. And I couldn't tell what the other critics were thinking. I'm like, God, I feel so bad. And then we all walked out. And we were all just fucking laughing.
Yeah. Wait, Zach Morris, you know which Serenity we're talking about, right?
The Matthew
You're
McConaughey
talking
one.
about Firefly Serenity?
No, the Matthew McConaughey one.
The Matthew McConaughey one with.
Have you never seen it?
Hold on. Let me like.
It has Anne Hathaway.
If you haven't seen it,
sounding. Do I even have it marked?
Here, I think I have it behind me. Where the fuck
yes.
is it?
Oh, then no,
own
this
it.
came out a couple
It's
years
this one.
ago. No, I didn't see that.
This one.
You need to watch this tonight. If you just want a real treat, it is. I think Tyler Tompkins put it best. He said it is an accidental masterpiece.
Yeah,
and I can't disagree.
I
can't disagree.
I've heard really. I forgot, but I've heard.
There's a sex scene in this with Anne Hathaway and Matthew McConaughey, and when it ends, I think I literally almost pissed my pants laughing.
Oh,
that was the scene I had to walk out of the theater because I almost died. I couldn't do it. But Tarantino directing that maybe would have made it.
That would have been funny. Also, someone just said Chazelle for Cats, and now I want that movie. I want that.
But you know it would be
so
good. But you know
it would be good.
The movie might be worse.
Oh, really?
I don't. Again, it's just another one. I don't like Chazelle.
I almost threw up on
But I haven't seen First Man, and I feel like I'm gonna really like First Man. So maybe my opinion of him will shift. But like, I don't know. He's made 2 movies about music that I don't think either one. Like, I think both missed the mark completely.
Not even Whiplash? Dude, get out of here.
Oh my god. All right. Well, ignoring Zach's awful takes, Kristen Maldonado. Hey, Kristen, good to see you in here. She a lot of you guys have been putting here in the chat thoughts on Invincible. I actually have not watched the first 3 episodes of Invincible yet, but I have heard excellent things about it, and I have friends texting me saying that this is like one of the best ensemble casts ever. So,
you need to watch it. This show, because honestly, first episode, I'm like, this is good. But I don't get it because I read part of like random comics from Invincible. The last 10 minutes of the episode 1 sold me on the entire show.
Okay.
I am hooked. Because they only give us the first 3 episodes for a screener. Right after I was done watching them, I literally emailed them. I said, please tell me you are sending the rest. And they were like, yeah, don't worry. Like, we got you. I was like, I need the rest of the season. And I bought every comic from it. It's that good. It is that good. And it's literally like, I put it this way, like it has the animation of Archer and some of the humor from Archer, but imagine if it was mixed with The Boys. But I kind of want to say maybe even better.
Okay, it's better than The Boys. Wow.
It's up there for me. I love The Boys, but I really love what they're doing with this so far. And J.K. Simmons just,
I gotta add, like Steven Yeun is he's legitimately one of my favorite actors, like in the world. But like him voicing like a teenager or adolescent, like does it work?
I honestly forgot it was Steven Yeun. I had to look up who was doing it. I knew he was in the show, and I was like, oh, he's doing one of the main people. I totally forgot. Honestly, all the voice cast mixes in pretty well. Like Zazie Beetz is in there. Totally forgot. The only person I recognized was, other than J.K. Simmons, was Seth Rogen's in it. Like he has a small little thing in there. But
isn't John Hamm in that?
Yes. I don't know who he plays though. I gotta look it up. I think pretty sure. But again, let me see. They might not have shown its character yet, though.
Yeah, I was about to say it's only 3 episodes, so maybe.
Marshall Ali's also in it too, and I don't think I've seen him yet.
The hell, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a.
Marshall Ali just going to be in every like voiced superhero thing now.
That's fine with me.
Probably.
I'm fine with it too. It just seems like he's like one of the go-to guys for like superhero related voice acting.
Mm-hmm. Walton Goggins, Gillian Jacobs, Sandra Oh, Zazie Beetz, J.K. Simmons, Zachary Quinto. I've seen his character.
Okay. Ryan said that John Hamm plays an employee at the White House in episode 1.
Yeah, I know who they're talking about.
What is he just like a guy?
Is that like literally just him? He's just like White House employee number 1. Like,
yeah, his name's Steve. I know who he's talking about now.
Oh, okay, all right.
But yeah, the cast is stacked. It's freaking great though.
John Hamm's cameos are like legendary. Like I have to imagine he's just making other things, and then someone comes in and is like, "Hey, you want to come across the hall and shoot 20 seconds?"
Dude,
like,
no,
his cameo in Parks and Recreation might be my favorite cameo in something like
that. That film he did last year with Emily Blunt, he was the saving grace. It wasn't Wild Mountain Time.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
Wild Mountain Time.
He was the best part about. No, I watched Tag randomly, and like he's the best part about that movie. He is so good. So same with Jeremy Renner, but like he is so good. Like that
Tag's
opening scene when he throws the chair and it just hits him back. He's perfect.
So good.
I would love for them to do a game night too, and he's in it, like as like the antagonist or whatever. Like he just kills it.
That seems like the kind of thing that John Hamm would do.
Well, I mean, I've mentioned this to you, Griffin. Like, I think what they should do is they should have Robert Pattinson be Batman for a few movies, and then have John Hamm play the older version of that Bruce Wayne.
They would never do that, but god damn it, that would be incredible. John Hamm would be.
Or how about we just get him in the DCEU instead of just doing Michael Keaton again?
I mean, yeah.
He was up for it too before Ben.
I know. This it's never gonna happen. It's like when an actor misses the ship to play James Bond. It just you keep wondering what if.
Do you think Cavill's gonna be him? Do you think Cavill still has a chance?
No, probably not. But then again, he's not Superman anymore, so just give it to him. Honestly,
if they ever cast someone that famous as James Bond, I'm gonna jump off a building because the franchise will be dead.
I hope you enjoy the ground.
You know the pretty big.
Like,
I mean,
the franchise doesn't do that. They don't cast.
No, they don't. But they do have a history of going back to actors that they previously wanted as the characters. Like that's why Pierce Brosnan got the role. I mean, granted, Pierce Brosnan isn't as big as like Henry Cavill is right now, but even still, you know.
But that's the thing. Like Brosnan's profile didn't really increase at all. It increased a little bit between when he was first considered and when he got the role, right? Like Cavill, on the other hand, when he was being considered, no one knew who the fuck he was, and now he's Henry Cavill.
Yeah, but if they're not going to use him as Superman, then he doesn't have that franchise that he.
Can I say I don't think he's outside of the film space. He's not that big of a name, honestly. Like I guarantee, if you walk down the street and ask, "Hey, do you know who Henry Cavill is?" Oh, Superman. Like I think that's all the, if anything, because like my grandma, we were talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I was saying, "Oh yeah, Superman's in it." My grandma was like, "Who plays Superman?" And I said, "Henry Cavill." No idea. And she's in the movies. Like she sees a lot of movies every single year. But she knows who Ben Affleck is. She knows who Gal Gadot is. Knows who. She even knew who Ezra Miller was. And I was kind of surprised by that. But So I don't think Henry's as big as we think he is.
That's what I've always sort of like hung on to. I mean, that's what my video where I'm like, why Henry Cavill should be the next James Bond. That's like one of the things that I like cite in there, is that like he's not as big as people think he is, and he's not even Superman anymore. So who knows?
Come on, Marvel, grab him. Just grab him.
So someone grab him for God's sake. We'll probably take a few more questions here, and then we'll start to close out. Superwise asking, I talked about this on my own channel, but Sly Stallone confirmed today on Instagram that he's writing a Rocky prequel series and is going to pitch it to streaming services. Thoughts? Good idea. I'm kind of in the Zach Marsh department right now. I don't really like that. I think that just Sly needs to move away from Rocky. The Creed stuff was genius. It was great. But a prequel series? Why? I mean, we all know who Rocky was before he was Rocky. That's stupid.
I had that in the back of my mind when we were talking about like the actors that you're sick of seeing or whatever. I'm sick of origin stories for like, because it's like it's not like it's origin stories for like superheroes and James Bond, and like it's origin stories for stupid things. Like no one needed a Nurse Ratched origin story, And like, why do we need a Rocky origin story when Rocky is the origin story of Rocky?
Yeah,
that first film is an origin story in and of itself.
I know
it's like that's my problem. They're doing like a million origin story things for the most milquetoast shit possible. Like it's not that Nurse Ratched isn't a great character, Corey Starling isn't a great character, but it's like. But like, who cares? Like, give me. I would rather see the 50,000th origin story of Batman again than see an origin story for like someone who was the third build character in Kramer versus Kramer, which is like the direction they're going in. You know, it's just
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I don't want it.
Origin story.
I want Sylvester Stallone to just do new things, like what he's
Yeah.
doing with Julius Avery next, the Samaritan. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that's what I want him to do now in his career, and I think that's what him and Arnold should do instead of just going back to these roles that we've seen before. Don't get me wrong. If he shows up as Rocky in the next Creed, cool. I'm all in for that. But
Yeah.
I don't want them doing more Rocky films. I mean, the franchise has been passed on to Creed at this point. And I mean, it's the same thing like the Rambo film last year.
Yeah.
Well, not last year, but the year before that. It was fun. It was nice. Whatever. But I don't need another Rambo film. Like, it feels closed out for me. And that's the thing with him. Like, The Expendables was a cool idea. Then they ruined it with 3.
Well, because they brought it to PG-13 for God knows why. That's I'm okay with Sly doing throwbacks to like the kind of stuff that he did in the 80s if it's like stuff like The Expendables. Like that's fine. But like I hated that Rambo, the Last Blood. I thought it was so bad. But like
it was greatly bad.
I mean, I don't want to see more Rambo movies. No. I don't want to see like another Rocky movie because like you said, we have Creed. So like why like what do we need to explore that isn't already in that first movie? Because it's like that whole first movie is about him becoming the boxer and the person that we all know as Rocky.
Can I also say, and the reason I still have to see Creed 2, but I've heard it's great. But the first Creed, the reason it worked, the reason Rocky works, neither of those movies are boxing movies.
No,
like they're not movies about.
They're dramas.
They're both movies about a guy trying to come up from nothing and prove that he's not nothing, right?
Yeah. The second Creed's like that too. I mean, it's drama. That's what makes those films strong.
But that's the thing. That's why like Rocky 2 through 5, those movies don't work because like sure they're entertaining, but they completely miss the point of the first film. I'm a really big fan of Rocky Balboa or Rocky 6 because it went back to that, and then obviously Creed was incredible. So. Like that's the other thing too is I see a 10-episode Rocky Orton show just being like, hey, here's Rocky boxes Spider Rico, and then like it's just a bunch of boxing episodes.
Yeah,
that's so boring to me.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, let's see some of the other questions in here. I'll answer this one real quick. The Geeky Gator. What happened to the front runners, Griffin? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this year's Oscars. I just sort of I was planning on like doing something for it, and then I just sort of ran out of time. Also, I just think that
it's a weird year.
Yeah, it is a weird year, and I didn't really feel like doing it. But the main reason is, and I'm sure you're sort of like getting a feel for this just by the channel. I'm sort of taking the channel away from just like general movie talking more on the video essay type content. Like even when I'm going to review movies, it's going to be through the lens of a video essay, like what I did with Cherry, like what I did with Zack Snyder's Justice League, like what I'm going to do tomorrow with with Godzilla versus Kong. Plain and simple, it just I have more fun doing those. Those are more creatively fulfilling. They're a lot of work, but I think the payoff is greater than, me just like doing regular movie reviews. Like just to be honest with you. And I just think that, this whole YouTube space, when it's all about finding your niche and finding where you fit best and where you can incorporate what you want to talk about in a way that works with your channel. And I think just like, for me, that video essay type content, I think it's successful because it's what I enjoy doing the most. And I've always, even when I was reviewing movies normally, I was always reviewing them with a more analytical edge to them. I was like diving deeper in them than a typical movie review would necessarily. And so I guess the final transformation into this whole thing is just, doing more of the video essays and stuff like that. And so like I said, not every video essay is going to be like a 30-minute breakdown of Kong Skull Island.
It's like your Cherry one. I think your Cherry one's the best example. That's what I told you 2 months ago. I was like, just do more video. I was like, that's your best content. That's the stuff that people come to you for because you dive so fucking deep. compared to a lot of other video essays, which that doesn't go against anyone else who does a video essay on YouTube. But like, I feel like Griffin, I mean, seriously, like you put hours, days, weeks. I mean, lot, like your Kong one. How long ago were you talking about Kong Skull Island to us? And like the details you went into that. So, you know, and that's how it goes. But I think everyone finds their niche in YouTube. That's a big thing. And how you bring it about. How do you, why? I mean, if I'm sure some people in the chat want to start a YouTube channel. And, you know, the biggest thing is what's your difference about you? You know, like why, like Griffin's is his deep dives into movies. Honestly, for me, it's just I'm like on cocaine 24/7 apparently from my comment section, and that's the energy I bring to my reviews. You know, you either like it or you don't. I don't give a shit. So you know,
I mean, well, that's the thing. I mean, and like your big thing is like if you want like the latest movie reviews, like instantly you go to Zach. Zach's always gonna have his stuff up. He's always gonna have that like cocaine energy, and like especially for his like recaps for the Marvel and like Star Wars shows. It's like he's literally the first person to have his video up. I don't know how he does it. I can't even like process what I just watched before I turned on a camera.
Dude, it's tough. I forget half the time. I mean, it sucks. It sucks, but like that's how TV reviews are. Like you have to be that first person out because everyone's looking for that. Like I think of it this way: I'm Scott Mance, but like 24 years old. Like that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, that works.
So, but yeah,
dude,
so, I mean,
I've never talked about television before, and these Walking Dead episodes every Sunday, it's like stressful as hell for me to like make sure the thing goes up on the FilmSpeak site like at 10.
Oh, it's dude. See, I watched that first Walking Dead one. I didn't love it, so I'm waiting to binge these ones because I'm waiting till next week to see that one. I have a whole thing on Walking Dead. The
thing like these are episodes of the show, but they're also kind of self-contained. But like you know what? I think most of them have been good. I think the third one. I think it is. The third one it might be my favorite episode.
That's cool. Because I liked how self-contained it was. I don't... Honestly, like, I know the last episode's all about Negan, and that's the one I wish they just did. I wish they just did the small... Because I read all the comics, and I love the comic books. And I get it. A lot of actors left, all that sort of stuff, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to go a whole tangent on it. I'm honestly like debating on doing a video just talking about like what happened to this damn show because I get it. So many people left, but there's a lot of things that they need to talk about. But with that said, Negan is the most interesting character in the show still. And so is Daryl. I'll give them credit. They've done a lot of good stuff with Daryl so far, especially after Rick left. But there's a Negan comic that's just 6 arcs. You could have done 3 episodes of Negan and I would have been fine with it. Because I still think there's that depth. Like, my parents don't watch that show anymore because of Negan. They said Negan ruined that show. And I was like, I get it, because he kills off 2 of the most likable characters in the entire show. How do you come back from that? So, it's tough. So, yeah. There's a lot.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, not to derail it too much, but I just feel like that was the general problem with Negan is they were trying too hard to just take the pages of the comic books.
Yeah.
Like that was the problem with the 7th season and a lot of the 8th season. And it's ever since the Saviors thing ended, Negan has been the best character on the show.
Yep.
Like there's been so much going on there. And it made me really glad that I jumped back on because now like I honestly wish they were doing like a Negan spinoff because I could just watch an entire season of Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah.
And that's not to say, like, I like a lot of the characters on the show. I think most of the actors are really good, but that is just he's like seems to be consistently the best thing of the show. If an episode's heavily Negan focused, it usually ends up being a pretty good episode.
Yep. So 100%.
Sure. All right, we'll take a few more here, like 2 more questions, and then we'll close it out. But let's see. Real quickly, I'll answer this one, Ryan. I have not seen Nobody. I want to see it. It looks like a blast. Zach, well, actually, both of you have seen it, but I know Zach Marsh, you wrote the review for the FilmSpeak site, and you really liked it. So maybe you can speak to this a little bit.
Yeah, I thought it was like really good. I was really surprised by it. I mean, I'm a huge Bob Odenkirk fan. I have been since like I was a kid, and I saw like episodes of Mr. Show and shit. And then, Better Call Saul, Better Call Saul is the best thing on television right now. So there's that. But the opportunity to kind of see like Saul Goodman turn into John Wick, the movie delivers on that. Like, I think the biggest selling point of this is he dives way deep into this character performance-wise. But the action sequences, him doing his own stunts, the way these things are shot, it's some of the most competent action I've seen in the past, like 5, maybe even 10 years.
Well, it's directed by the guy who did Hardcore Henry.
Which is more than I can say for a lot of action movies. There's no cutting on impacts. There's no cutting on gunshots. The film basically only cuts when they have to show what's happening on the other side. They have to reverse shot. Other than that, like, it keeps everything in frame, everything in focus. Geography's consistent. That's the selling point. It's just a really good time for an action movie, and Bob Odenkirk is fantastic in it.
Yeah, he does most of his own stunts, too. That's what's crazy. He took 18 months or something to train for the film, and it's great for him. I really like Nobody. The more I think about it, the more I want to go see it again. Because I watched it at home. I might go and see it again probably this weekend or something. But it's something. Nobody is really, really good, and it plays into it. Like, it's the more comedic version of John Wick. Like, it knows what it is. Like, the reason he goes out and like gets into this whole thing is fucking stupid. But like, me and my friend were laughing our asses off when it happens. So action's great. Bob Odenkirk just nails it. And honestly, I want a sequel. I really hope we get a sequel.
I'm sure they will.
I hope so.
I'm sure it will. It feels like it'll, like, they were trying to go for that John Wick thing and be the next like sort of John Wick franchise, and it feels like they've done that. So they'll probably. And
it's only an hour and a half. It's so self-contained. And Christopher Lloyd, man, oh my god. Perfect. Yeah. I mean, this is probably the most fun he's had in Back to the Future.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's been a while since I've seen him in something like, I guess. I mean, I haven't seen this movie, but like, it just from like the trailers and everything, just like, he's doing something like fun. Yeah, for sure. All right, let's take one more question here. Make it a good one. Do you guys see anything in there that you want to close out on?
Looking at the chat right now.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, throw in like the best question ever.
Yeah, I know. If you throw in a good one, we'll close out on it.
I mean, there's someone just asked. There's two. Like, someone's asked the ranking of the Cornetto trilogy, and someone's asked the ranking of Middle Earth. Those are kind of interesting.
That's too hard.
That's
too hard.
The Hobbit sucks. There you go.
The Hobbit sucks.
The Cornetto trilogy is all great.
There's like 3 people asking if we like Chipotle. Yes, I do.
Chipotle's fine, but that's a stupid question.
We're not going to close out on Chipotle. I have not tried the Chipotle quesadillas, but I hear that they're just like the quesadillas you would get if you asked them to make a quesadilla at Chipotle.
The big thing about this is you just couldn't order it on the app before.
I know, that's literally it. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, there's a super chat from Sean Brown a little bit further up. It's not it's more of a statement, but
yeah, we already addressed that. Oh shit! We didn't. We didn't do that one. Oh, so sorry, Sean. So sorry about that. Yeah, we'll close out on this one. Kind of a hot take. I think Tarantino is a bit overrated because his movies have a massive male fantasy element to them, and they don't really resonate with female viewers. I
disagree with that because my girlfriend and her mom fucking love him, like love his films. So like, I actually think they resonate with female viewers, especially Jackie Brown. If you've never seen Jackie Brown, I mean, I think what he does is, it does appeal to men. I mean, honestly, like all of his films appeal way more to men. But his women characters, I mean, Kill Bill, man, Uma Thurman, The Bride, one of the best written female action heroes ever. I mean, honestly, she's so good. Jackie Brown, I cannot. What's the actress's name from there?
Pam Grier.
Excellent. And then I know a lot of it kind of comes from Once Upon a Time and the way that he used Margot Robbie, but I think the way he used Sharon Tate was the best that you could do. And one of the biggest show-stopping characters in there was Butters, that little girl on the set. She stole tons of scenes.
Julia Butters. Yeah.
I get the take, but I actually think it actually does resonate with a lot more females than you would actually think. And I think Tarantino has a lot of respect, especially when he writes female characters.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong. I would love to hear more women's thoughts on Tarantino, but majority of the females I'm friends with or talk to seem to all like Tarantino.
I can't speak for, you know, whether or not he resonates with female viewers because I'm not a female viewer.
Yeah.
What I
That's
will
the
say
truth.
is there's a whole, you know, it comes up all the time online is that he hates women and he doesn't write them well and he's disrespect. Like, all I will say that to anyone who thinks that Tarantino hates women or that he doesn't give them proper like their due in his films, I don't know how you can watch Sharon Tate watching her own movie and like just the joy that woman had for what he did. How you can watch that scene and think Quentin Tarantino just hates women. You know, does it automatically mean that he doesn't? I don't know. I don't know the guy. But I think that between that, The Bride, and Jackie Brown, especially Jackie Brown, I feel that, you know, yes, there is like a male fantasy element to his films, and they're total, like, they're testosterone flicks, right? Like, you know, that scene in that shitty movie where we were watching Griffin, like that, where he talks about Top Gun, I feel like he actually thinks Top Gun is one of the best scripts in Hollywood, right?
Yeah,
So,
I do. For sure.
And just something that's really burned me about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood too is the people who say that, you know, he disrespected Bruce Lee. People talk about the scene between Brad Pitt and I forget who the actor is that played Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
That's Brad Pitt remembering that moment, and memory is an unreliable narrator, right? And Brad Pitt's skewing the moment towards himself, and then when Sharon Tate's in the theater, we get her memory of Bruce Lee, which is completely wholesome, of him teaching her the fight move she needs for the movie. And that to me was Tarantino actually representing like what his vision of Bruce Lee was. And every single bit of discourse about the Bruce Lee thing doesn't mention that scene. It only mentions the fight scene with Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
And that's annoyed me so much because he's telling you that the guy loved Bruce Lee, and this is what he actually thinks of him. Instead, people go, "Oh, he just hates Bruce Lee and made him look like an asshole."
Yeah.
Watch the whole movie before you say that.
I know. I get it. I'm
gonna go watch that movie right now.
You just inspired him to watch it. I guess I'm not necessarily, like you just said, Zach. I'm ill-equipped to answer that question because I'm not a female viewer, so I can't really say. Yeah. Oh, you're wrong, or you're right, or whatever. I mean, like, it's I ask female film critics. That's the best thing to do. But guys, that is going to do it for this impromptu live Q&A. Thank you all for the questions. Thank you all for the super chats. We really, really appreciate it. Before we even go to like letting you know where you can find the wonderful panelists on here, tomorrow 10 a.m. my Godzilla vs. Kong video essay drops. I'll give you guys a forewarning here because you're watching this live, but there are spoilers in it. So if you haven't seen the film, be sure to watch the film, and then you can come check out the essay. But we do discuss who wins the fight because it is a big part of the section in there.
It's hard not to talk about it. Honestly, when I made my review last night, the last 30, 40 minutes, it's really hard not to talk about it because you don't know what someone knows and what they don't know and what trailers they've seen.
Yeah.
It's weird how vague you have to be with a Godzilla versus Kong film, but don't be spoiled on that because thankfully a lot of the spoilers I saw were actually fake, so I was really happy.
Oh, good. Yeah, because you said you saw a bunch of spoilers, so I was a little.
I saw one thing that still pissed me off, but I was like, whatever. Yeah. But besides that, I was happy with what.
So, guys, check that out tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time. It is a good one, I promise you. But thank you to my two guests for joining me today on this Q&A, Zach Pope, Zach Marsh, the Zachs. Zach Pope, where can everyone find you?
You guys can just find me on YouTube at Zach Pope. Just type that in. You'll find me over there. Tomorrow I'm ranking all the MonsterVerse films. Wasn't going to do it, but then I felt like I was sitting at work today, and I'm like, man, I really want to talk about my ranking. Plus, that's my way of talking spoilers with Godzilla versus Kong. So make sure to
There
go
you
watch
go.
that first, then come back
There you
and
go.
talk, because I needed a way to do it, and I didn't want to do a spoiler review, so might as well do a ranking. So
It's like one of those weird movies where it's like it's not beefy enough to do a spoiler review,
Yeah.
but it's like you really want to talk about yeah.
Well, and that's
So-
like, plus I like all those MonsterVerse films, and
Oh,
doing
they're fun.
like rewatching them all, I'm like, each one does something like really good. Like I think
Yeah.
the best directed one's the first one, and then after that, you know, Kong Skull Island's really unique in certain ways. So not gonna spoil much, but yeah, if you want to check out my ranking, go watch the film, and then turn that on.
Yeah, for sure. And Mr. Zach Marsh, thank you for joining me last minute. Where can everyone find you?
Yeah, Twitter, Letterboxd, Twitter, Instagram in terms of like most active, least active, and on all three it's Zach, Z-A-C-H, B as in Bob, Marsh, M-A-R-S-H, no dots or underscores or anything. Twitter is just kind of this weird hodgepodge of dumping on Trump supporters and sometimes talking about films. And then Letterboxd is pretty self-explanatory. I'm always adding to, like, you know, I've got like 5,900 films logged.
Damn.
Every month I remember like 5 or 6. Oh yeah, I saw that when I was 15. Add it in, and I log everything I watch and try to talk about it if I can. Sometimes, you know, when I was compiling for my FilmSpeak top 10. I kind of just put my score out of 10 and didn't talk with films. I was watching like 7 a day.
Yeah.
But other than that, you know, it's you can really learn a lot about my tastes, how varied they are, and kind of how I think and how I write. And you know, check out the FilmSpeak site because I've done.
There you go. Plug it. Plug that
Hey.
site, boy.
I've done.
Plug it.
I've done some reviews there. I've done a couple interviews and like things like that. I'm really proud of my movie reviews, and I review The Walking Dead every week. And I might go ahead and review Fear the Walking Dead when it comes back on, just because I need something to do. I don't have a life.
Why not?
Yeah, might as well. Might as well.
And my Instagram is I basically don't do anything on there. So
He's not active, so don't even.
might
Yeah.
motivate me to post if you start following me, but other than that, it's just like a picture of my face every now and then. So
If you want topless pics of Zach Marsh, follow him on Instagram. And that's how we're gonna end this, folks.
Yep.
You can like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the FilmSpeak channel if this is your first time watching, or don't. That would suck, but you should. And then lastly, if you like me specifically and you like what I have to say, you can give me a follow on Twitter at Griff Schiller. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining in, and I will catch you next time. Take care.